Welcome to the Legends of Boxing show on the Gruely Truth Sports Network. The Legends show is brought to you by the Retired Boxers Foundation and MyBookie.ag. I'm your host for the Legends show, Mike Goodpaster. Right now, I want to welcome in my co-host, Jeremiah Preisser.
Hey, good evening, everyone. I want to thank all of our listeners for tuning in and week out. Let's talk some boxing, Mike.
All right, and my guest today is the former WBA junior middleweight champion of the world, former WBA middleweight champion of the world, and has, in my estimation, the greatest nickname any boxer's ever had. Help me welcome to the show, Mike the Body Snatcher McCallum. How you doing, Mike?
I'm doing good, thank you.
All right, so tell us a little bit about your early life. I know you grew up in Jamaica. Who were some of your early influences, and when did you start boxing?
Guy by the name of Bunny Grant, a guy by the name of Errol Corinthian, and he was the one that really had me started the boxing. And a guy by the name of Aston Top, he was a trainer at the time. Live Mendes was a guy that we trained in his backyard. And some other guys, those are the main guys I can remember right now.
All right, and so eventually you made it to the 1976 Olympics. Tell us a little bit about your experience in Montreal.
Yeah, it was good and it was bad. I was a young man. The Olympic came around and was one of the biggest thing for me to win. And I wanted to win very badly, like everybody else. I go to the Olympics to perform. But I didn't go as far as I anticipated I wanted to go. I went to the quarterfinals and got beat by the champion.
That's still a great accomplishment. And I know you won multiple national Golden Gloves. Can you tell us some of your memories from those events? You beat some really great fighters in those tournaments. And as a follow-up, I'm friends with Alex Ramos, so I'm supposed to ask you about your fight with Ramos in the 1980 Golden Gloves finals.
We fought. I remember we fought. It was a good fight. It was a good fight. Alex was a bad boy, you know what I mean? And at the time, Alex he was a very popular fighter. Everybody knew Alex Ramos around New York City. And, I was a guy coming into New York at that particular time, not too long after he was doing everything great. And we had a hell of a fight, but you know what I mean? Alex, I thought I won the fight. Alex think he won the fight. But even till today, I still think I won the fight. But, it was good competition, and we had great fun, and that's what matters most.
Yeah, and fighting in the New York Golden Gloves back then, there were some really good fighters in there, especially in the national Golden Gloves that you beat.
Yeah, all champions. A guy that do well in the pros. I beat a lot of good guys.
Yeah, and you were, you were supposed to have a rematch with Andres Aldama, the Southpaw Cuban, but it never happened. If I'm not mistaken, you had to pull out because you had acute appendicitis?
Yes. I couldn't believe it. I went there in Cuba. And I was feeling pains in my stomach, and I'm saying, what is wrong now, man? I can't believe what's wrong. So, went to the doctor, doctors to check us and all that for a fight and all that. So I tell the doctor, he's checking me, and he said, what's wrong here? I said, I don't know. It hurt me. And next thing I know, I was in the operating room. I didn't know what's wrong. I said, where am I at? I'm supposed to fight. Why am I not fighting? I said, you're a lucky man. You almost died. She was appendicitis, and I operated on me immediately. So I couldn't even think about fighting. I was just happy that I was alive.
Yeah, and that's the sort of stuff that'll give you a close call. What happened with the decision to turn pro? Was that always natural? And when you did decide to turn pro, did you immediately go to the Crunk Gym in Detroit?
No, I was training. See, what I did wrong was Thomas Hearns and Emmanuel Stewart came to New York City. And we were training in Gleason's that time. And I started putting some stuff on Tommy Hearns. Who's that guy? What's his name? Where you from? I'm from here, man. Where you from? I'm from here. You know about me? And he said, no. And he wanted me to come with him, don't pay me well and all that stuff. Come to Detroit and train, and Thomas Hearns, and he got Mick McCory, David Braxton, and all them guys, and McKenty, and all them guys. So you have a lot of fighters. And you do well. You do me well to go with him, you know. So it was the worst move I made, because I couldn't fight Thomas Hearns now, because I was number one contender to him and Duran. You can't fight Thomas Hearns. We're stablemates. You can fight Duran. But at the time, Duran was a bigger name, and I think I could beat Duran.
Yeah, I think definitely at that weight. I think definitely at that weight you would have handled Duran.
Thank you. Well, that's what I wanted. But what it did to me was to turn me off of Duran and put Tommy with Duran. So I said, oh, it's like that? Go ahead.
And I just wanted to ask real quick. I saw in an article, but I just want to ask for confirmation. I had heard that the result of you being called the Body Snatcher was the result of sparring sessions between you and Thomas Hearns.
That's true. Billy Hearns called me the Body Snatcher, his brother. I was working with Thomas Hearns, and I was punching him to the body very, very viciously, and over again. And I heard Billy said, "Tommy, you got to box." And I started stepping closer. Tommy hit him to the body. He couldn't box it. That's it. He's the Body Snatcher. And from that day, that's my name, my nickname, the Body Snatcher. Billy Hearns gave me that name.
Now, you want to talk to us a little bit about, I know you moved from Jamaica to the United States and not competing on did people in Jamaica hold that against you?
Not compete for Jamaica? Or what? What are you saying?
Well, I mean, when you moved to the United States, were there people that kind of were upset with you there because of that?
Well, they were and they weren't, because I was trying to get myself, out there as a boxer. In Jamaica, it's good to box in Jamaica, but it's on a smaller scale as opposed to the American, So I could fight in the American Amateur Championship, Golden Glove, AAU, if I get a chance to, and I could also be fighting as a pro in the United States. So it's always a bigger scale, and I feel it was the best thing to do. They understand some of them, but they're likely to fight. Now that I said Jamaica is good. I don't fight.
Right, and eventually you ended up fighting. I mean, I think for me, your first real big win as a pro was beating the former junior middleweight title holder Ayub Kalule. In that fight, I remember you dominating, especially with the uppercut. Could you tell us a little bit about that fight?
Yeah, Kalulu, was a great fighter, was a veteran fighter, and he was left-handed too. So he was very awkward, very tough. He got good stamina, got a lot of experience, and bring a lot of to the fight. And I said, well, I have to box this guy. I have to fight this guy. I have to box this guy. I have to do everything that I have to do to win this fight. This guy is a tough guy. He don't stop punching. He don't stop coming. So I had to work myself very, very hard, fighting, going backwards, sideways, boxing. So I boxed a lot in the fight. I fight a little bit in the fight because I didn't need to fight with him. I need to box him to win. That's what I did.
Yeah, and then you get to the point where 4 more wins, 3 by KO, and you were declared the mandatory challenger for Duran. But, of course, you said that fell through. So you ended up fighting for the vacant WBA title against Sean Mannion. I think that was on the undercard of Hagler-Ham Show 2. That was in October of 1984. You want to tell us what it was like to be the first Jamaican to ever win a world championship?
Oh, man, it was a big thing for me in Jamaica. I had a parade, from the airports all around the country. I was on a parade, and it was beautiful. A lot of people, I got to pass a lot of people on the way, and everybody calling my name, Mike, Mike, and all that. So it was a great day for me, you know what I mean? My country came out and give me the props that I needed, you know what I mean? Because I always say Jamaica when I fall and win. I always say Jamaica, my country. I say those things. And I was also sitting in the United States of America. I'm talking about Jamaica like that. So, you know, I just wanted to know that I had a great career at the time, and I was very happy. I won the first title with Jamaica. And, we had great fighters like Bonnie Grant and Preisser. Those were two well-known fighters. And at that time, and I won the championship for Jamaica, the title for Jamaica. It was a big thing for me.
Yeah, and that was a fantastic achievement. Eventually, you sorry, you ran into Manchio in Italy, and then you fought former Kronk teammate or gym mate David Braxton, stopping him in the 8th on cuts. What was that like?
Well, it was very nice for me. I was very happy. And it was a thing where me and Emmanuel Stewart and all the guys, most of the guys in the Kronk team were like enemy. We were at war because he's telling me he's gonna put me with Sean Manny. After he tells me he's gonna put me with Duran. Mike, don't worry. Tommy ain't gonna fight Duran. You gonna fight Duran.
Yeah.
It's okay. Tommy just stay with me, so you fight Duran. I said, all right. Then I understand. Getting a call from the doers and said, you fighting? You're not fighting? You're not fighting Duran? I said, what do you mean? Yeah, I'm fighting Duran. Shelly was my manager at the time. He was looking after me. He said, you fighting? You said, no, yeah, I'm fighting Duran. And you making the fight? No, we heard that you decided to step aside and give Tommy the fight. I said, are you kidding me? You must be joking. No, I'm serious. So I said to myself, what are you doing? I'm trying to get you to fight with Duran. I said, no. I heard you not trying to do that. The Duvers and Shelley were the people who had me on contract, to fight for the main event. So they telling me, no, you fight, step aside. I said, I'm step aside. Well, Manuel Stewart said you step aside to get Thomas Duran to fight with Robert Duran. I said, no, man, you tell me I can't fight with Tommy because we used to stay together. So now he's telling me I should fight Duran. I said, okay, fight Duran, it's cool. Now he's telling me, no, we put Duran with Tommy. Mike, I'm telling you, I said, listen to me, man, I'm not stupid. You put the fight with Duran. But Tommy, not me. And I left him. I said, you know what? If you fight Thomas Duran, I'm out of you. And I could have and I should have sued him for that, but I said, don't worry about it, I'm out of it. So I'll fight Manny. So I left him and fight Manny. I had to fight Manny because he was the number one contender. No, he was the number 2 contender. I was the number 1 contender. So we had 1 and 2 fights together because Duran gave up the title and fight Tommy. And part-tied with Manuel Stewart from that day.
So getting back to fighting David Braxton, that had to give you you had to go in that fight with a little bit of vengeance. And the thing I remember from watching that is you went headhunting and you took him out in the 8th round and you busted him up pretty good. And I remember the interview after the fight, you saying that you beat one Kronk fighter, but you won another one that you wanted Tommy Hearns next. Did beating Braxton give you any kind of retribution for not getting to fight Hearns?
Yes, it gave me a lot of retribution. But you remember, I don't know if you know this, but he gave me a picture of Thomas Hearns.
Yeah.
I said, what's that? He said, you want Thomas Hearns? I said, well, yes, that's what I want, Thomas Hearns, not a picture of Thomas Hearns. So that's the only time you're going to get. And he laughed and think it was funny. And I fought Braxton. I fought McCory. And every time I fought one of his fighters, I said, yeah. Now I have two Avengers, just 2 guys I beat up in the Kronk team.
It was like notches on your belt, huh?
Yeah, I said, give me Tommy next. He said, he didn't get Tommy. You want to get a picture of Tommy.
Well,
You
you
think
you
it was
did end
funny,
up.
but I was serious.
No, we know you're serious. I mean, this is. I think
No, I'm
anybody
saying
who's seen you do
sorry, I think Emmanuel understood that I was playing. I was serious. Go ahead.
Right. Yeah.
No,
Well, go ahead.
yeah, you go ahead.
Okay. So yeah. And yeah, we know you wanted Tommy Hearns. I mean, anybody who followed your career, understood that you wanted Tommy Hearns, and a lot of us hoped that you would get that fight because, to us that was, better than a guy like David Braxton. But I mean, you did end up getting Julian Jackson, who was a massive hitter. That was an exciting fight.
Very, very good fight. Boy, I didn't know the boy hit that hard. I thought he's a puncher. But sometimes I knock his guys out too. So I say, he just beat a touch guy and he fall down. I'm saying, nah, he ain't punch that hard. But when we fight together, man, I realize that this young man punches hard as hell.
Yeah,
he hit me with a shot.
Go ahead. Good.
He hit me a shot, and he hit me the shot. I said, you know you got hit. And I said, okay, I'm all right, because I didn't feel dizzy or nothing like that. My head was clear. I said, oh, I'm all right. But at the same time, my right foot was going crazy. Like there were mind of his own, all over the place. I'm saying, wait a minute, what's wrong with my leg? I realized I got hit properly. And the boy was a massive hitter. So I grabbed him and I walked him around, and then we go again. Go ahead.
Yeah, and you took him out in the second round. I mean, so the first round taught you a lesson. The second round taught you didn't want it to be a third, right? You got him out of there?
Yeah, I have to get him out of there. He punches too hard. I can't afford to not let him. I can't afford to not take him out of there. I got to do that.
Yeah, and then you get 3 more wins, including you iced the Iceman, Milton McCrory from the Kronk Gym. And then the fight that I think really put you on a national stage is you fought Donald Curry, who at the time was considered one of the better pound-for-pound fighters. He had beat the Iceman, Milton McCrory, in 2 rounds. And if I remember right, they had you behind going into the 5th round, and you hit him with a perfect shot and put him out. What do you remember about the Donald Curry fight?
All right, two great things I remember. 3, I was in great shape. I trained very hard for the fight. I remember George Benton. George Benton told me the week of the fight, he said, Mike, what you got to do with Donald? Donald show 1-2 very, very well. Got a beautiful right hand, so you got to watch out for that. And he showed me the shot the week after the fight. I've been training for about 8 weeks. And the last week of the fight, he showed the combinations to me. I'm saying, Georgie, why didn't you show it before? He said, no. You listen to me. This is what you got to do. This boy throw 1-2 very well. So you got to slip the jab and hit him with the right uppercut. And when you come with the right hand, you slip the right hand and come back with a hook. And I'm telling you, if you do that, Mike, you're going to be happy. And sure, Georgie, I guarantee you, Mike. And he showed it to me a couple of times, and go over it again. I said, okay, it's going to be done for me to try it right away. I said, nah, I'm going to try it. And he showed the same 1-2 again. And then he showed the shot that he was down. Showed that combination was down. Went down. That was it.
Yeah, well, he was a fantastic trainer, and funny he had that game plan, but hey, it worked out, right? But eventually, after that, you end up getting Sumbu Kalambe, and that was your first loss as a pro. I mean, did that really affect you all that much, losing? I mean, Kalambe was a slick boxer, underrated fighter, in modern times.
That was very, very true. I fought Kalambe, and when I fought Kalambe, I went over there late, a week, the same week of the fight. Now, I don't know about going over to over there to Italy late or early. I didn't know anything about it. But I heard a lot of the commentators were saying, they said to me, the guy that interviewed me, was saying to me, don't you think you're coming here a little bit late? Let me late. I'm here a whole week before the fight, after the fight, the week of the fight. Yeah, but do you know that you from New York and in America, you come here, different attitude, different time change and all that stuff. So you got to understand that most guys come here to fight. They come here early, at least 2 weeks minimum. You come here a week, the week of the fight. I said, yeah, well, I'm going to show you that when I go in the ring, fight Column Bay. Because 2 weeks ain't going to mean nothing to me. You'll see. And I said, oh, we look forward to seeing that and all that. So I didn't even know they were talking that way, and it was real true. I found out in the fight that I couldn't really do what I wanted to do. And I understand. I stayed a week after, and I was much better. So I should fight now instead of when I fought then. So, not to take away anything from Colin Bay. He's a slick fighter. You know what I mean? He do a lot of things slick. But I know I could have beat him.
Yeah, and then after that, you beat Errol Graham over in England, and then you go to Boston. You face the Irishman Steve Collins in your first defense of your title, or in the first defense of his title. You took the title from him in Boston, which the crowd was raucous. Collins came on late in the fight, but you pretty much dominated that fight throughout.
Yeah, he was, he was a good fighter, a good fighter, and I dominated the fight, like you said, but, I had to win the fight, so I would do anything to win that fight, so I had to make everything was bad good to win the fight. Understand what I mean?
Yeah.
Got to do whatever I got to do to win the fight, so that's what happened there, and I won.
Yeah, and eventually you got the rematch with Callum Bay. You ended up winning. And then some of my personal favorite fights, because not only am I a Mike McCallum fan, but I also like James Toney, back in the day. Those fights were fantastic, and every single one of them was great. It was just a high level of competition, and you're both technically brilliant. What do you remember of those bouts? And I take it you thought you won all of them, huh?
Well, what do you think?
Well, I had you losing the first and winning the second. Yeah.
Come on, I had him winning the first two. I had you winning the first two, so give Jeremiah the crap, Mike.
First is a draw. The first is a draw, they say.
No. Right.
Remember? I was going into the 11th round. I was winning the fight. I was ahead in the 11th round, sorry. Right?
Yeah.
And I was winning the first half of the fight. The last half, he chose some combinations and stuff. And they put it a draw. I won the fight. I think I won the fight.
Yeah. I think you
did
too. I thought you won the first two fights.
Yeah. The last one, he won the last one.
Yeah.
Because the last one, I fought him, but I wasn't into the fight like I should have been. And of course, he's younger and he's learning too. You know what I mean? He was a slick fighter too. He learned a lot from me too. You know what I mean? So he was. Yeah, I think the third fight I lost it. Yeah, I think I lost the third fight.
Yeah, and then you also
towards the I think I won.
Go ahead. And then towards the end of your career, you fought Roy Jones Jr. What was your take on Roy Jones Jr. compared to all the other great fighters you had fought?
Yeah, well, Roy got good speed and good power, And but Roy didn't fight the whole fight. That's why I thought I could beat Roy if I was younger. But he didn't fight. He fought 12 rounds. Well, like me and Tony fight 12 rounds. We fight 12 rounds. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
We go back and forth, all through the 12 rounds. With me and Roy, he had a lot of time when he didn't do no work. Just cover up in the ring and all that stuff. You can say he's smart, but I don't. I want to fight 12 rounds or 15 rounds. We fight 15 rounds. That's how we do it. That's how I know to do it. That's why I thought I could have beat him. You know what I mean? Because a lot of times he rests going through going the distance. He rested sometimes. I covering up and all that on the rope and stuff. They say he's smart, but I don't think that is smart. I think that if I was younger, I'd have more energy. I could do it better, and I think I'd beat it.
Yeah, I think there's no doubt in your prime you take care of him, I think.
Yeah, I think that'd be. But he's a good guy and treated me fairly in the fight, and he take care of me good in the fight. So I have to give him a lot of props on that.
Yeah, and it was. I imagine it was, just in the end, as we've talked about so far, it was probably really frustrating not to ever get a fight against Hagler, Hearns, or Duran, or Leonard during your career. Was there any talk at all that you might get Hagler, or was there any negotiations there?
No, not with Hagler, but Leonard didn't want to fight me. And Duran, of course, gave up his belt to go with Tommy instead of me because, of course, the manners to it put it in front of him. But he didn't want to fight me. I heard that too. He didn't want to fight me before that time. But Hagler, we didn't really talk about a fight with Hagler. I wanted to fight Hagler too. But I said, you fought Duran. You could fight me too. You know what I mean? Why ain't fighting me? He said, no, Mike, it didn't come about. I said, why every time I talk about you fighting me or Thomas fighting me, it never come about? But he said, no, Mike, it never come about with me and you. But Tommy and them guys come about, the manner and all that. Leonard said to me one day when I asked him, normally, I know Leonard from way back in the Olympics, 76. He fought from America and I fought for Jamaica in the Olympics. And I saw him a couple times after that. And he looked like, he walk away and look like he doesn't know me.
Yeah.
He always tried to avoid me. So one day he come to me and said, Mike. So I know it's him, and he said, Mike, how you doing? I didn't answer. I was sitting down, he was behind me. He said, Mike, how you doing, man? He touched me on the shoulder. How you doing? So I said, oh, who's this? You Ray Leonard, man. I said, oh, you remember me now? I said, all the other times I saw you in the Montreal Olympics, how you doing, Mike? How you doing, or whatever. I see you all over the place. You always don't look at me. You pass me like you don't know me. I said, why you didn't fight me? He said to his boys around him, he beat Roger. Beat my brother Roger. I said, you know me, if I were younger brother and you beat my younger brother, give me all kind of pleasure to beat your back, you know what I mean? Because you beat my brother. Yeah. He didn't answer me. So he said, he beat my brother, Roger. I said, oh, okay. You know that I beat, because that day when I fought his brother was in the finals of the AAU, National AAU. And he flew in to see the fight because he was just starting his career as a pro. He went about 4 or 5 fights. And he come in to beat enough for his brother. To see his brother beat me in the National AAU. And I beat him up. I said, oh, you remember I beat your brother Roger? Well, all them other times you walk past me like you don't even know me. Why you didn't fight me? I beat my brother Roger. So I said to him, if I beat your brother Roger, if you and me, if I were you, and you beat my little brother Roger, I beat my bigger brother Roger, I'll try to take your head off. I would love to fight to beat your back for my brother. He never said nothing. He just looked at me. So that's how it was.
All right. So what occupies your time nowadays? Do you still follow boxing?
Yeah, I'm training fighter.
Okay. Who are you training?
Jesse Vargas is here now. I'm with Jesse Vargas, and he's getting ready to fight here in where we're at now.
Okay. He's got a fight coming up. What is that, tonight or tomorrow night? Tomorrow night?
Yeah, tomorrow night.
Tonight. Yeah, that's the PBC card, right?
Yes.
Okay. So when you look back at your career, what would it take to be a boxer? I know you had a daughter and a son. Would you want your son to be a boxer?
Yeah, we tried it, and he was doing good, and he was stopped boxing. I don't know. He said he's going to do it again. So he was 20 years old now, so I'm waiting to see if he's going to come around and do it again.
All right, Jeremiah.
All right. Yeah, and I wanted to ask about the Hall of Fame induction in Canastota, New York. That had to be a shining moment in your career to finally, get your face alongside all the other legends in the sport. What do you remember of the induction ceremony?
It was beautiful, and I have a beautiful ring on my finger now. I wear it every day, so it's very nice. It's kind of sword on one side and Mike McCallum on the other side. And to the International Boxing Hall of Fame, it's a beautiful ring. So I have it on my finger now. I'm looking at it. I remember that about it. It's very good. I was very happy that they did that to me after my career, my long industrial career. I got a ring like this to show that I was inducted in the Boxing Hall of Fame. It's a beautiful feeling.
All right, real quick before we go, we've got a listener by the name of John Matthews that wants us to ask your thoughts on fighting Irishman Kenny Beattie in the Commonwealth Games in the amateurs.
Oh, Irishman, that was a bad boy. We fought. Yeah, we had a rough fight. He was tough. What's he doing now?
I don't know. It was John Matthews, who's
Did he ever
actually...
fight pro?
I don't know if he did or not. Do you know Jeremiah?
I'm sorry, what was the question?
Kenny Beattie, did he turn pro?
I'm not exactly sure, to be honest with you.
Hold on here.
Yeah,
I've got a
it was a good
computer. You can find out anything on the computer.
Yeah.
Give me a second. I'll give you an
It was
answer.
a great fight. It was a great fight, though.
Legends of Irish Boxing, Kenny Beattie.
I think he was the one that said he won the fight, and they say he won and I won the fight. I thought it was a fight, right?
Yeah, I believe so.
Yeah, I won. He won the bronze medal, and I beat him. So they gave him the victory.
Yeah, because I found a story here where you actually met him during a Lennox Lewis fight, I guess, a while back.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So I beat you in the Olympics, man. The guy that got away with a murder. You got away with it. You laugh. I say, I beat you in that fight, and you won the bronze medal, and I didn't. But you got away with murder. I won the fight. He said, Mike, I was the judge. I said, yeah, but I don't know what happened in the fight. The judge was looking at the fight the right way. They're looking at your way. They didn't look at me at all in the fight. They look at you alone. Like you fight alone by yourself. Because I won that fight.
Yeah. All right. Well, I want to thank John Matthews for sending a question in, and thank you for listening. Jeremiah, any final comments for the champ?
Yes, I'm just happy to have a man of Mike McCallum's status on the show. McCallum is a guy that we greatly appreciated during his prime, a fantastic technical fighter, with good hand speed, good power, a wonderful chin, and again, we're just excited to have a guy like him on. We appreciate it, Mike.
Thank you very much. I appreciate you having me on the show. It was a pleasure for me to sit here and talk to you guys.
Yeah, and Mike, tell Jesse after he wins his fight tonight, if he wants to come on our weekly boxing show next week, we'd be more than love to have him.
All right, I will do that.
All right.
We've had I just want to say real quickly that we've had a good number of PBC guys on. We've had Rushy Warren, Lamont Peterson on a couple times, and plenty of other guys. So, yeah, we'd enjoy sitting down and chatting with them.
Okay, sounds good. I'll tell him that. And
All right.
I'm very happy to be on the show, so thank you very much.
All right. Thanks a lot, champ.
All right, you're welcome.
All right.
All right, bye-bye.
Yep, thank you.
Oh, no, go ahead.
No, we're done. We're done. Go. You can go ahead.
All right, we're done. All right, bye-bye. All right. Bye-bye.
Thanks,
Okay.
Mike. All right, guys,
All right,
I want to
good.
remind you can check out all of our other Legends of Boxing shows we've done this week and the shows coming up. I know we still haven't put up Bones Adams, Tony the Tiger Lopez, Michael Bent, Pinklin Thomas, of course, what you just heard with Mike McCallum, plus the other interviews that have already been posted were with former heavyweight champion Mike Weaver, former heavyweight champion George Foreman, and we have a long list that we're going to go through. If you keep tuned to thegruelingtruth.net, our goal is to have pretty much every boxer that ever possibly lived that's still living on the air. And you can check out every podcast we do by going to iTunes and downloading our app off of there. Also, remember mybookie.ag if you want to bet on the fights tonight or you want to bet on the fights tomorrow night. Also, you can go on there and listen to our Inside Boxing Weekly. We did a Billy Joe Saunders preview and a David Lemieux preview, of course. And we had ring announcer Thomas Triber on to talk about last weekend's fights. Caleb Truex pulling the big upset against James DeGale. It looks like that we will have Caleb on sometime in the next week, so you want to keep an eye out for that. So, Jeremiah, any final thoughts?
Well, my final thoughts are, again, we've been getting bigger and bigger guests on this program. We've moved up a lot from where we first started, doing a guy here, doing a guy there, and now it's consistent. We've been getting lots of really good fighters on, all telling interesting stories. I encourage everybody to look at those and just have a listen, because a lot of these guys have some fantastic stories. I mean, Pinklin Thomas and Mike Weaver and George Foreman, guys like that who come up rough and ended up triumphing, with over one thing or another, and then having Mike McCallum on. So it's kind of the cherry on top for me. McCallum was a fighter that I thoroughly enjoyed in his prime, and I look forward to doing more of these.
Yeah, and it looks like we're just trying to set up a date and time yet, but in the future it looks like the Pocket Rocket, Wayne McCullough, will be on, James Lights Out Tony will be coming up, Johnny Bump City Bumpus, and I got a list of about 10 more that are interested in coming on the show. So make sure you check us out at thegruelingtruth.net. You can hear all of our shows on iHeartRadio, iTunes, Spreaker, Stitcher, TuneIn. Wherever you find sports podcasts, you'll find The Grueling Truth. So, for Mike the Body Snatcher McCallum, Jeremiah Preisser, I'm Mike Goodpaster. You've been listening to The Grueling Truth, where the legends speak.